Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro Division with the tournament win for the qualifying round in the Get Set Go tournament here in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and make sure that you do subscribe to the YouTube channel here and also hit the thumbs up button and turn on the notifications. You can get the ultimate tournament guides by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. If you want to see an example before you invest, then you can always send an email to support@golfclashtommy.com and we will all help you out. Follow the info box on the right hand side for the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow what I do suggest, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we are going to play a no movement. A no movement means that you shall not touch your target until it's time to adjust the rings. We're playing with the rock, and here we can play with the rock level 6, 7, 8 or 9. 3 topspin, 3 left spin, adjust max plus 10, and then we shall apply outside wall left curl, which is obviously the ball to the left, outside the ring to the left. If you do play with the rock level 6 or 7, we do recommend that after your adjustment you push up a total of 3 yards. Second shot, we are going to use a reference which is going to be the fringe by the green. So we're going to move our target up towards the fringe to see what plus yardage we're in. In this case it's +0, or it's just before +1. But as this is a replay, it shows you the wrong thing. We shall be having for this video exactly, it should be showing +7. From +7 we are going to play now 4 bars of topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the right, and you can see that we are into the rough with the ball guideline just short of pin. Adjustment here shall now be 53% slider, so 53% of your club with -10% elevation. Power 2 ball settings. Adjust that, hit perfect, and you will have a good chance getting this ball into the hole. Because what we do is that we are catching the funnel that is from the rough, rolling the ball towards the pin. And catching the funnel will give you room for error, and it will give you a good chance to start off with an eagle. So katana ball is all what needed. Don't forget to push up at the start with the drive if you play with anything less than the rock level 8 and 9. And then the second shot, check the fringe for the plus yardage and then decide what slider you're gonna use. And use as reference +7 equal 53%. A very bumpy par 3, but we're gonna play with our long iron as we do have a tailwind. We start at the +5 yard mark here with the Grizzly level 9. For those of you that do play with Grizzly level 7 or 8, or for that matter level 6, you start at complete max distance with the bottom of the white ring by the rough line. Here I'm gonna play with 0.3 bars of topspin and 0.2 bars of side spin to the left. This is a par 3 where I do not expect many drops to be made, but I expect myself with a perfect ball here to always be close. And the reason I don't expect many hole-in-ones is because of all of the bumpy parts that are on the fairway before we get to pin. And that is something that then makes my mind go, okay, I'm gonna have a shot that we're gonna get close, and we will be dropping it sometimes, but as there is a lot of luck involved, there is no point in spending too much time on a shot like this, especially in the qualifying round. So max +10 is the adjustment, and as we are playing at the +5 with Grizzly 9 and we're playing at max with Grizzly 6, 7 and 8, we use Grizzly 7 and 8 numbers for this adjustment here on hole number 2. For hole number 3, we are going to use our extra mile. That's our focus when we do play in pro. Obviously, you can play with another driver if you want to, but to follow the advice here to the letter, then the extra mile is the club. 4.5 bar topspin and 2 bars of left spin, and we're looking to have the half of the red ring inside the rough at plus 5 yard mark for extra mile 9, plus 6 yard mark for extra mile level 8, and then plus 8 yard mark for extra mile level 6 and 7. Adjust max plus 10, then we shall apply overpower even if we don't adjust into. So 2.5 rings of overpower is what we're looking to use if we are not adjusting into overpower. If we adjust into overpower, we do apply 2.5 rings overpower combined with the amount we adjust into. So example, you adjust 1 ring into overpower, you use 3.5 rings of overpower. The reason we do that is to make sure that we can keep playing with 4.5 bar topspin even though we do have headwind. Second shot, now it's important that we do play with the Goliath. You don't have to play with a Goliath level 9, you can play with a lower level Goliath as well. But why is it so important to play with a Goliath? It's because it has the maximum power as a long iron. If you play with a Grizzly, even if the Grizzly would have a better accuracy, better ball guideline, you will be in between clubs. Because we're going to be very close to max distance of our club with the Goliath, which we won't be able to reach with the Grizzly. And that's going to obviously cause a problem. Half of the yellow ring at the top there outside the rough, ball guideline to be just through the hole with Goliath 8 and 9. Goliath 7 and 6 shall have the ball guideline to the hole as it has a worse ball guideline. Now, adjustment based on this shot here now that we just burned the edge. We do want to use 86% slider from plus 4 yard mark, and the plus 4 is the yardage you are in when you have set your landing position for the second shot. Then 10% elevation as well. In the video I adjust less, and that's why we miss right. So that's why 86% slider or 86% club is what we're playing the second shot as from plus 4. For hole number 4, we're gonna play almost exactly the same adjustment and spins as we did on hole number 2. We're gonna play with, in this case, 2 bars of topspin, half a bar of side spin to the left, and we're gonna look for the top of the white ring by the sand trap line, but also more importantly, the tip of the ball guide line. Look to now where I do put the ball guideline, we look at to have the tip of it to be in between the bright and the dark green square row. Tough one to replicate, but do your best. Max plus 10. Power 3 ball settings is what we are looking for, and again I'm using a Kingmaker. You can use another ball if you want to, but as this hole is very difficult in terms of the elevation and also the second bounce wind effect, then it's gonna be a lot of value to reduce the wind as much as possible. Ball comes in lovely, speed is lovely to the right side of the cup, but I don't care, just that it drops. This is, in my opinion, if you put the landing position correct, you have a good chance for an hole-in-one on hole number 4. For hole number 5, we are going to play on the left side, but we are not going to go full blast. I've tested going full blast, but with very little success, and therefore we're gonna play a controlled drive with a good chance on the second shot. Headwind on this hole is always going to be tough, and I'm gonna explain why I'm removing the right side completely from this play. 1 bar of backspin, ball guideline straight down the fairway on the right side. Look at the bunker's position in the center and the rough to the right to get the correct position. Medium distance with a 15% over adjustment, a great ball to the left and perfect has been safe, and looking at the end result that we had with a perfect ball on stream, then a great right should be safe there as well. Now for the second shot, we are going to have the Grizzly packed as a long iron. Why? It's because we do want to find the minimum distance line in as easy way possible, and that we do with the Grizzly. Now, once you find minimum distance line, you make sure to have backspin so the ball guideline go through the hole approximately 1 green square. Then you move the ball guideline to be 1 green square left of pin. And the reason we want to do that is that we do want to compensate for the push that we're gonna get, and we don't want to adjust down into the bunker. So that's why we are keeping the adjust at min plus 10. We stay up on that platform, we don't adjust down, but we do offset our target instead. Minimum distance with a 10% over adjustment, hit perfect, and this ball is gonna be close. Now, just to explain to you, why do I not lay up on the top right of with the drive? It's because from there we play a very elevated shot, which is going to be difficult with a bumpy fairway to dial in. Now we can play on a flat fairway, we can play from minimum distance line, we also play with a low wind, with a low elevation, which all of those components makes this shot, in my opinion, be much easier to drop than if we do lay up on the right side. You don't have to play with a Kingmaker if you don't want to, but the Kingmaker reduces the wind and also helps to prevent from adjusting down into the bunker on the second shot. Hole number 6, and we're going to play a no movement here as well with the rock. So what we're gonna start with is a power 2 ball, and we go with 2 bars on top spin, 3 bars on side spin to the left. Once we have done that, we adjust max plus 10 is what we are using. If you do play with rock level 8, you push up 1 yard after the adjustment. If you play with rock level 6 or 7, you push up 6 yards after adjustment to compensate for the different power amount that you do have on those levels. 0.8 ball of left curl, important. Otherwise, you will either roll into the rough on the right, or if you use too much curl, you will go into the rough on the left. The ball will, even if it looks like, oh my god, it's not gonna stop, it's not gonna roll into the rough. Now, second shot, important to play with the Grizzly as the long iron, but we're not gonna play with it when we take the shot, but we're gonna use that to find the minimum distance line as an easy way possible. Here, the mistake that, not the mistake, but what we want to do here in this this scenario is that we go to minimum distance. We use a 3 backspin, 3 left spin, and we'll leave the ball guideline short of pin. Important to note how many rings you push up from minimum distance, and it's gonna be somewhere around 5 to 7 rings every single time. The recommendation here is to use 15% elevation for this shot and play then rings from min. So for an example, the sniper played 5 rings from min is 13 yards. So every ring is 2.6%. So 5 rings above from min is 13%. And the ball is gonna bounce and it's gonna roll, and we just barely miss it here to the left. And the reason we barely miss it is because obviously we adjust too much, and that's why 15% elevation is what we're gonna use. And once again, rings from min, 2.6% per ring is what we're gonna use as a reference here for hole number 6. For hole number 7, we're gonna start with whatever power 5 ball you may have. And the reason we want to do that is to find complete minimum distance with the white ring inside the sand trap. And the reason you cannot see the power 5 ball here is because it's a replay. But trust me, I start with a power 5 ball here. Once that is done, we change to a katana and use 3 bars of left spin, 3.5 bar of a backspin. What we would like to adjust here now is for max distance, no elevation, power 3 ball settings, which would have been 6.3 rings. In the video though, I do play with 6.2 rings, but you will see how close I am to drop this one with that adjustment. And that's why we're tweaking, we're changing to make you to have the best possible adjustment for this shot. Bouncing on the fairway, coming up towards the pin here, and we just burn that edge. I don't know if it can be much closer, besides obviously our 360. So max, no elevation, power 3 ball settings, which is 1:1 plus 0.1. So for 6.2 miles per hour, we had just 6.3 rings. Good chance for a drop on hole 7. For hole number 8, there is value to play with a power 3 ball to prevent us from having to push up much after our adjustment. And once again, we do focus on the extra mile to make it possible for you to follow along here in this playthrough. Obviously, here we're using 6 bars of topspin, which is an amount that extra mile level 7 or below will not have. So in those cases, use the Apocalypse instead, even though you do have it in level 2 or in level 2 to 8, because it's the topspin that we're looking for. Adjust max plus 10, push up 1 ring after the adjustment, and then we go with 0.8 ball of curl to the right. Ball will bounce on the fairway nicely, and the goal here for us now is to get up to a position where we do have a pin shake to be able to be used to dial in the second shot. A pin shake is made as following. You move your target up towards the pin with the bullseye. Then you see the plus yardage, plus 3. That you do remember, because plus 3 will then equal a slider or a club distance to use. Move back your target to fringe to have the bottom of the yellow ring by the start of the fringe with ball guideline to hole. It's going to be somewhere around 2.5 to 3.5 bar off backspin, depending on how good your drive was. Now, 10% elevation is what we're using, and from plus 3 as pin shake, I played a 26% slider. I would, however, though recommend to play 32% slider based on the miss that we do have here in the video. It's still gonna be a close miss that you will see here, but this is a shot that we cannot really afford to miss. A short iron shot like this is definitely a very good chance, so we need to adjust a little bit more, because missing left here is shown off an under adjustment on this shot. So 32% slider from plus 3, 10% elevation, and get in the hole. For hole number 9, we are going to play a no movement. Now you can see that I do play with a special ball, but I would advise you to play with a berserker, and the only reason I'm using a special ball here is due to the fact that I didn't have any berserker balls on this account. 1 top spin, 2 right spin, and then we shall adjust for maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and obviously power 5 ball settings. Now we play with the rock level 8. If you play with the rock level 9, you would have to back up 1 yard compared to what we have here in the video. Also, when it comes to the rock level 6 and 7, you need to push up 5 yards after adjustment to compensate for the different power we do have with the rock. Now the ball is getting close. 350 yards is where we're aiming for, and 352 is perfect. Now second shot we play purely to get this eagle, and now I'm gonna do a shot that I actually have dropped before, only twice, but I've dropped it, but that's not what I'm looking for. Max backspin here, and we are stretching out to find the center of the fairway above the rough sand and water, and then we do adjust for max plus 10. Then we're gonna push up to max, and then we're gonna apply overpower. In this case, I'm using 4 rings of overpower. I would say it's nothing wrong to use max overpower here, because the backspin will help the ball to stay on green regardless, but you can obviously go with less overpower to try to somewhat have a chance for an albatross. But in the end though, it's the qualifying round. Focus on getting the eagle. That's kind of what is the most important, and this shot will get you there in a very easy way, I must say, because you can hit a great left, great right, and you can see there yourself you have miles of room when it comes to the Guardian. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough with the tournament win for the qualifying round in Pro Division here for the Get Set Go tournament in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Get the ultimate tournament guides for Pro Division or for Expert and Master by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. Once again, thank you for watching and good luck in your Golf Clash game.